What's going on, guys? Patch here, 1878 Casuals. Want to do a quick video just because I've been seeing a lot of talk on the net about yesterday's result against Spurs and how a lot of people are blaming Ten Hag for the result, which I understand because, ultimately the gaffer's the one that picks the team. The gaffer's the one that makes the subs and, chooses all that. But I think ultimately yesterday's result was down to the players, and Ten Hag said it in his post-match that some players thought that 90% was enough, and it's not enough. And you could also blame it on the season that we've had in terms of how many matches we've played, and up until a week or two ago we were in two other competitions plus playing the Premier League 2 games a week for the last however many, months it's been. But that's the league, right? If you want to compete for top honors, you have to be able to handle a rigorous schedule like that. And I just think right now our squad is not capable of doing that. Now, granted, we're missing Varane, we're missing Martinez, Garnacho's been hurt. We don't have a proper striker. So, it's all those things that are finally kind of starting to catch up with us. And Tony O'Neill said it on the Webby and O'Neill channel. Shout out to Webby and O'Neill that, this is the time of the season where all that stuff starts to catch up to you. The fatigue, not the lack of squad rotation, but there's clearly a preferred starting 11. We are missing some of those guys, especially with Garnacho being injured. We don't really have a player to come off the bench and change the game, which is why, we saw Malacia and Fred and Veghorst come in yesterday because, all them boys are knackered, especially Fernandez. Casemiro didn't look up to the races, possibly because, he's only been back for a game or two after not playing for 4 matches. So, it's bad timing as well. Look, we've got a trophy this season already. Top 4 is not a lock, especially after yesterday. But, we have 2 games in hand on Villa. I believe a game in hand on Spurs. We're still 3 points ahead of Spurs. I think we just need to put our nose to the grindstone and just try to grind out these results for the rest of the season. I think we've had a better season than we anticipated, especially after the start to the season that we had. And we're seeing some positives. Dalot and Wan-Bissaka having a resurgence. I felt like, we found our preferred midfield. Rashford's having the season of his career. Feels like the season of his career. And we forget we've only had 10 Hogs for not even a year. And like I said, we had a better season than we anticipated. Nobody expected us to lift a cup this year. Nobody expected us to realistically be as good as we've been, I guess I could say, because, transition periods are always tough, as we've seen. The beginning of the season, we all had a pretty good feeling that, Ten Hag was going to whip these boys into shape, but I don't think we knew how well he's going to whip them into shape. There's still work to be done, and it's hard to forget that even though we've had what some would call a pretty decent season, like I said, we've won a cup, we're in the running for top 4, we're still in the FA Cup, we got the final against the Blue Noses. So, we're in a good spot. Do I feel good about the FA Cup final? That's a different conversation, perhaps. Sometimes it's hard to remember that we're not a finished product. And a lot of fans expect us to be a finished product after only 1 season, which is absolute bananas. Ten Hag has us going in the right direction. Give the man another transfer window or 2, and then maybe you can start casting stones. Because right now, I am happy with what we're doing. I'm happy with the mentality of Ten Hag. Now, some of the players aren't quite up to the races, and then we'll see what happens with them in the summer. I assume that we'll bring in, a new striker, a midfielder. After Licha and Varane being injured, it's quite clear we might need another center back in the summer now. Maybe a right back to help, either Dalot or Wan-Bissaka challenge for that position. I think Maguire's good as fucked off. So, like I said, we're going to need another center back. I don't think Shaw and Lindelof is an awful combo, but it's also not great. Obviously, the preferred combo is Varane and Martinez. But my point of all this is I think we need to cool it with Ten Hag. And this Ten Hag out, blaming the manager for all the shit. Sure, he's got to take some blame because he's the manager. But there's also a good portion of it that is on the players, and a lot of these players just not being good enough to play for United. I mean, yesterday, the reason that we couldn't grind out that game was, A, Bruno should have had that fucking goal, but he skied it. And when he made the subs, as I've said, we didn't have any game changers to come in off the bench, especially with Garnacho being injured. He would have been the one I would have brought in first, inject some pace and quick feet and all that kind of stuff into the match would have helped out a lot. But the second half was absolutely shambolic and embarrassing, giving up a 2-goal lead. We should have won that. Also, they could have won it, so we got pretty lucky as well. So I think the boys are tired, and it's understandable, but they just need to show more heart, more aggression, more passion, more urgency. There's been too many games this season where the opposition wanted it more, and that can't happen. And I trust Ten Hag to get that right. So, anyways, guys, there's my rant for the day. Appreciate you watching. Massive protest this Sunday against the scum rat leeches. Glazers, wear your green and gold. Send us your photos, Instagram, 1878 Casuals. We want to see them. We'll repost them. Let's get these Glazers fucking out of here. Up the Reds. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment what you think. In Ten Hag we trust. Glazers fucking out. Up the Reds.